point is also well only, but it is a shallow well. Okay, so here in the well point system, in the well point system, it is consisting of line or a ring of small diameter shallow well. So small diameter means only 40 to 50 diameter, and which are called as well points. So in this figure, you can see there are number of such well points are provided. Okay, that is just covering all around your area to be excavated further, and which is already excavated. So what they will do, they are generally connected with the pump. So first water will come through this well point, then it is going to this portion which is generally called as the swinger arm. So we will learn in detail exact components of all the well point system. So this small diameter pipes which are generally connected, and that are connected with the common header pipe. Okay, so and then the pumping is done, and that will be responsible for lowering time of the existing water table. So they are provided at close spacing of 1 to 3 meters. So generally they are adopted. एक लाइन में आपको काम करना है, that is for the pipeline trenches. Okay, so pipeline के लिए जो खड्डा करना है तो continuously और linear direction में जाएगा. So in that case, number of such well point you can install at a close spacing of 1 to 3 meter, and that can be connected with the pump. So it can be a very flexible and effective method of dewatering in the sand particularly जहाँ पे sand है या sand and gravel का mixture है. Okay, so वहाँ पे you can effectively use this well point method. So अभी drawdown कितना lower करेगा वो ground water table को. So that drawdown is limited up to 5 to 6 meter below the pump due to some suction करने की जो उसकी suction lift मतलब कितना पानी वो ऊपर खींच सकता है, उसकी लिमिट की वजह से it can only be working effectively for lowering down the groundwater table up to 5 to 6 meter, and also useful for the soil with the coefficient of permeability. So generally the sandy and gravelly soil, they may be having permeability in the range of 10 raised to minus 4 to 10 raised to minus 6 meter per second. So if water table is to be lowered greater than depth 6 meter, then what you have to do? So in that case, this single set cannot work because maximum up to 5 to 6 meter it can lower down. पर अगर आपको और depth पे जाना है तो आपको second stage install करना पड़ेगा. Okay, so in that case, if your water table is to be lowered below 6 meter or the greater than 6 meter depth, in that case you have to go for the multiple stage well point system. So here these are the components of well point system that you should know. So here in this case you can see this is the original water table. ये आपका original water table है, ठीक है? And this is your ground level. So now below ground level you have to install this well point system. So here you can see this is your well point system. So in this well point system, the jetting holes are provided, and this is the head of the your well point system. Now here the thing is that it is provided with the filtering screen. तो जो भी आपका पानी आएगा उसमें अगर सिल्ट या फाइन पार्टिकल है, so that will be filtered out. So filter होके ऊपर आएंगे, ठीक है? That is connected with, so first important part is well point. That is the major portion or the component of well point system. Okay. Then after it is connected with riser pipe. So this is riser pipe. So this well point, it is connected with the riser pipe. It is also having similar kind of diameter 40 to 50 mm. Now then here this T piece is provided just to connect it with the this pipe, and that is called as a swinger arm. So swinger arm is connecting this particular riser to the header pipe. So header pipe is a common pipe. Okay, सब जितने भी आपके well point होंगे already you have seen in this, so they are all going towards a common pipe, and that is called as the header pipe. So this header pipe should have diameter more than this well point, that is 150 to 250 mm diameter, and that are connected with the pump. So ultimately whatever original groundwater table is here, due to continuous pumping you can have lowering down of groundwater table. So this is the drawdown curve that can be obtained. Okay, so here these are some of the real pictures. So here you can see this is nothing but it is a header pipe, and this is your swinger arm, and this is your common head point, that is your common this particular large diameter header pipe. Okay, so this is your well point riser pipe, this is finger arm, and this is common header point, and that can be taken out with the pumping method. So this is pump is installed, and then you can collect it in a tank. So this way, by number of such well point system, you can lower down the groundwater table. So here in this figure, this lowering down, this is original groundwater table, and this is lower down groundwater table which is shown. Okay. So here some of the real pictures. Here you can see this is basically shown two stage. यहाँ पे एक stage है, वहाँ पे दूसरा एक stage है. Okay. So if you want to go on staging method, then also you can utilize. So this ring system, in which generally it is done for the rectangular excavation. So पूरा all around your excavated part, you have to construct with this your particular well point system. So here in the plan you can see it's a continuous header pipe that is connected with the swinger arm of all the particular well point system, and the slope is provided in this direction. Slope ऐसा होता है. So here you can see slope ऐसा होता है. Okay? And here this is the lower down of original groundwater table is shown. So here you can excavate your further soil in the water-free environment, that is in dry condition. So this way you can show this. So many figures. So here in the section which is taken at AB, this bottom portion, it is nothing but it is a well point. Then this is your riser, this is your swinger arm, and this is your header point or head point. So these are all. Now this is called as the well point for the progressive system. Progressive system means एक ही direction में आपको आगे चलना है. So here so many particular well point system that are shown, and generally trench for the pipeline. So this is the direction of trenching. Continuously you have to go on adding all the well point system successively, because and in the one line only you have to go for the excavation, because generally pipeline in linear direction में आगे चलता रहता है. So what is the multi-stage well point system? So as I told you that the maximum drawdown limitation or the lowering down of the groundwater table which is possible, it is around 5 meter. So if you want to go for the further depth, suppose it is greater than 6 meter. So in that case, what you have to do, 2 or more rows of well point are to be installed at different elevation. So installation of the well point is done in stages. Stage wise, you have to install your particular well point. So first stage well point are located near the perimeter of the area. जो outer perimeter होगा आपका outer, उस पे आप पहले जाओगे, okay? And then you can go up to the lowering down of groundwater table up to 5 meter. 5 meter तक आपने lower down कर दिया, okay? And the area is excavated. पूरा area properly excavated हो गया. No entry of groundwater up to 5 meter. Now further you want to go, okay? Up to 10 meters suppose. So you have to install the second stage within the area which is you have already excavated. तो already आपने excavate कर चुके area, उसके अंदर ही आपको second stage लगाना है. So here in this figure you can see here already excavated area, उसमें second stage आपने install कर दिया. Okay. So that is second stage. So water table is further lower down. Again you are lowering down by again 5 meter, and excavation of further 5 meter depth is to be done. दूसरा 5 meter आपने excavation start कर दिया. Now total depth of excavation becomes 10 meter. Now if further you want to go, अभी तीसरा stage लगा सकते हो, and this way you can use this method maximum up to 15 meter. Means you can say that maximum up to 3 stages you can go. In each stage you can lower down groundwater table up to 5 meter. हर एक स्टेज में आप 5 मीटर करोगे. 15 meter, that is the maximum limit up to which you can go for the excavation by this well point system. And soil condition should be also satisfied. The sand and sandy gravelly soil होना चाहिए. So if further if you want to go, then it is not possible by this method. So you have to go for the deep well system. So initially that we have discussed. So that deep well system that is greater than 16 meter you can go for. So here this is the picture in which this multi-stage system is shown. So here this is your first stage. Then initial groundwater table is here. Okay, just see this. So in the first stage you have lower down up to this 5 meter niche. So here you can lower down. So here in the second stage again you are installing, further you are lowering down. So in this fashion you can lower down the water table from here to here by applying the different stages. Okay. So this way maximum up to 15 meter you can install your well point system, and you can lower down the final groundwater table from the original groundwater table, maximum up to 15 meter. So here, what are the precautions to be taken in well point system? Connections. All the connections of the well point system should be airtight. कहीं पे भी लीकेज नहीं होना चाहिए. It should be airtight. Otherwise, आपका जो भी pumping है, that will be disturbed. Or also this all the pipelines should be laid in such a way that rise towards the pump only. Otherwise, airlock हो जाएगा. Suction side पे कभी-कभी क्या air आ जाता है. Okay. So it should not form that airlocks. एट द सक्शन साइड जहाँ से हम सक कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे एयर लॉक्स नहीं होना चाहिए या एयर नहीं आ जानी चाहिए. देन पंपिंग रेट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. योर पंपिंग रेट शुड एक्सीड द रेट ऑफ इनफ्लो ऑफ वाटर. जितना पानी आ रहा है उससे ज्यादा रेट से आपको पंप करना पड़ेगा. अदरवाइज यू कैन नॉट पंप दैट वाटर. सो दिस पंपिंग रेट शुड बी मोर देन द रेट ऑफ इनफ्लो ऑफ वाटर फ्रॉम द सराउंडिंग वाटर टेबल. And deep well pumps. Now these deep well pumps that can be adopted in the multi-stage system of the well point, and this deep well pump should be used when the instability of the side slope is expected. तो एकदम हम लास्ट स्टेज में जब जा रहे हैं तो deep well pumps are to be adopted, because otherwise अगर आप simple pump use करते हैं, so in that case there are chances of instability of the side slope may be possible. So in that case multi-stage system you can adopt the deep well pumps, special pumps. So what are the advantage? Advantage is that it is very rapid. फटाफट आप उसको install कर सकते हैं. Also the equipment is reasonably simple and cheap. Cheap and simple equipment you can utilize. Also as the water table, this water is drawn down by well point from the excavation. The side of the excavation are stabilized and steeper side slopes are permitted. Because आप पूरा पानी बाहर निकाल रहे हैं तो steeper मतलब स्टीप स्लोप करना है तो भी आप प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. Also it results in the saving in excavation and permits the excavation in fairly dry condition, because after lowering down of groundwater table you are going for the second stage, and also you are filtering it, because you are filtering जो भी आपके ground के जो fine particles होंगे that are not washed away, so chances of erosion is also reduced. And there is no chances or no danger of subsidence of the surrounding ground in this particular case, because that fine particles that are not moving along with that pumped water, because filter is provided. But disadvantage, in the single stage only you can go for the lowering of water table only up to 5 to 6. And practically you can say it's a 5 meter. So if you want to have greater depth, that is greater than 6 meter, so you have to compulsorily go for the multi-stage system. And the next thing is that it is essential to continue the pumping. Pumping जब एक बार आपने start कर दिया तो continuous करना पड़ेगा. Otherwise in between if you are stopping, and it has to start until the excavation is complete. जब तक वो excavation चलता रहता है तब तक उसको आपको start ही रहने देना पड़ेगा. If you are stopping in between, then it may prove to be disastrous. कुछ भी मतलब डिजास्टर हो सकता है, बिकॉज अचानक से सक्शन साइड पे एयर ब्लॉक हो जाए. सो कंटिन्यूअसली यू हैव टू स्टार्ट ऑपरेटिंग योर पंप, एज वेल एज ग्राउंड विच इज कंसिस्टिंग ऑफ वेरी स्टीफ क्ले, ग्रेवल और बोल्डर्स. बड़े बड़े साइज के बोल्डर्स आ गए तो वेल पॉइंट्स आर इंस्टॉल्ड इन ड्रिल्ड होल्स. अगर इफ स्टिल यू वांट टू गो फॉर द दिस वेल पॉइंट, वो डायरेक्टली सॉइल में डाला जाता है नॉर्मली. बट इफ यू वांट टू इंस्टॉल कि स्टीफ क्ले में डालना है या फिर बोल्डर्स वाली सॉइल में डालना है, तो इन दैट केस पहले आपको ड्रिल होल करना पड़ेगा एंड देन यू हैव टू इंस्टॉल योर वेल पॉइंट. So that will increase your installation cost. So in the sandy and gravelly soil it can be effectively used, but for other soil it will increase your installation cost. So these are some of the advantage, disadvantage and some precautions to be taken well when you are adopting this well point system. So this is very important as far as examination is concerned, and also important method for dewatering of groundwater. Now next method is a simple cement grouting. So cement grout is nothing but it is generally the mixture of water and cement or water and sand or clay. So पानी को सीमेंट के साथ मिक्स करो या पानी को सैंड या क्ले के साथ मिक्स करो, and then allow it into the soil either by some machinery or by the pipe with the pressure. So it is used where the permeability is so high. अभी permeability इतनी high है that well pointing और गोल्ड वेल नीड अ वेरी हाई पंपिंग, बिकॉज जहाँ परमेबिलिटी बहुत ही ज़्यादा होगा बहुत ज़्यादा पानी निकलेगा. So in that case बहुत ज़्यादा pumping करना पड़ेगा, okay, because the rate of pumping should be higher, very high capacity pump is to be installed. So where there is a very high permeability is there, in that case instead of pumping you can go for the cement grouting. So what will they do? They will solidify and strengthen the formation to increase its load bearing capacity. उसकी load bearing capacity बढ़ा सकते हैं. And also it reduces or eliminates the flow of water because that will उसको solidify कर देंगे, so वो impermeable हो जाएगा in short. And also it will increase the bearing capacity and also reduces the flow of water through the formation. And also it reduces the hydraulic uplift pressure, नीचे से जो पानी आता है उसका भी वो uplift pressure है, that is also reduced. So generally this cement and water that are generally mixed and that can be injected into this fine soil, and it is necessary to use 2 part of water to 1 part of cement. So these are just some general mixture that you can adopt. And grout made with the neat cement means जिसमें सिर्फ cement है, दूसरा कोई mix नहीं किया, it gives a very high strength. Then the grout which is containing clay or sand, definitely this cement it is having more binding capacity and also compressive strength is higher, so that will be useful when you want to increase the strength also. So cement is suitable for injection where strengthening is required. So जहाँ पे आपको strengthening भी चाहिए, and in addition to reduction of permeability, permeability तो reduction करना ही है because we want to avoid the water entry नहीं करनी है, लेकिन strengthening is also required. In that case you can go for cement grouting, otherwise you can go with the grouting with the mixture of water and sand or clay. So here these are some of the pictures how this cement grouting can be done. So with the help of this machinery, this pipe is installed and this cement grout that can be injected, and when you are injecting this cement grout, then it will strengthen and it will increase the bearing capacity of the soil, and also it will form as a impermeable cut-off wall, so it will not allow the groundwater to enter. Suppose here there is a site, so it will not allow it to enter here. So these are some of the method which are shown. So this is the permeation grouting, so just by penetrating you are allowing. This is compaction grouting, so that may be useful for compacting your soil. And this is hydrofracturing, that is hydrofracturing type of the grout. So different types of grouting method that can be adopted. Okay, so just by simple pipe and you can install this in the different direction. Okay, so here in coarse material, बहुत ही ज़्यादा coarse material है, rock है, the excavation is surrounded by the grout. So suppose this is your face of the excavation. So generally in the two holes you are making. Okay, so first is primary hole. So suppose these are the position, यहाँ पे pipe install करके you can go for the grouting. So these are the primary holes. So initially these primary holes that are provided at certain distance. Okay, and then once the grouting is done for the primary hole, in between you are going for the secondary hole, तो उसके अंदर आप secondary grouting करेंगे. Okay, so these rows of primary injection hole that is generally provided at 2.5 to 5 meter in both the direction, with the secondary holes in between them, so that will completely solidify your surrounding area. Okay, so whatever that complete layer which is formed all around your area to be excavated, it is called as the grout curtain. So the such kind of grout curtain, with the help of primary and secondary hole, you can create all around your area of excavation, and complete cut off wall that you can provide, and that will not allow entry of any groundwater. So commonly used grouts, so this is very commonly used cement and water. Otherwise you can use cement, rock floor, water भी use कर सकते हैं, cement, clay and water, cement, clay, sand and water. So these are variable mixtures that you can apply. Then asphalt, damer, then clay and water, then certain chemicals also you can apply. So here in the clay grouting, so basically clay is also used for grouting. So injection of the bitumen emulsion, tamarind emulsion, or slurries of clay, clayny slurry, or bentonite clay. Bentonite clay is a special kind of clay. Okay, this with the Portland cement mixture with or some chemicals, that all you can utilize. So when the grading is too fine for cement grouting, cement grouting में बहुत fine grading है, and the gravels where the reduction in permeability is required without need of strengthening the ground. So here the main purpose is only permeability reduction. ओके, परमिएबिलिटी हमको कम करना है ताकि पानी ना, और स्ट्रेंथनिंग नहीं करना है. सो इन दैट केस यू कैन गो फॉर द क्ले ग्राउटिंग. सो इट कैन क्रिएट द इम्परमिएबल कट ऑफ वॉल इन द एल्यूवियल स्ट्रेटा, जहाँ पे नदी के पानी से जो बना हुआ स्ट्रेटा, जहाँ पे नीचे डैम बना हुआ, तो जहाँ वहाँ पे जनरली दिस क्ले ग्राउटिंग इज यूज्ड, डैम के नीचे का, just to avoid the entry of groundwater. So these larger voids are filled with the clay और clay cement grout, थोड़ा सा आप सीमेंट भी मिक्स कर सकते हैं, and followed by the clay chemical grouting. So in the different stages, clay mixed with cement or clay mixed with the chemical, and that will fill all the spaces in the final material, and it will just act as an impermeable layer, and that will not allow entry. Now instead of cement or instead of clay with the cement and chemical, pure chemicals can also be used for the method, and that is called as chemical consolidation or chemical grouting. So generally it is the liquid. Generally chemicals are the liquid that can be pumped through the small opening. छोटी छोटी ओपनिंग करके उसमें से आप पाइप डाल के उसके अंदर लिक्विड फॉर्म में डाल सकते हैं. So what will that do? There will also become barrier to the flow of water through a formation of gel after some time. जैसे ही आपने उसको इंजेक्ट कर दिया, एक जेल जैसा फॉर्मेशन करेगा. So that may take, depending upon whatever chemicals that you are using, 3 seconds to several hours that are possible. Okay, so that will form a layer of complete gel. So it is also acting like a physical cut-off wall. पूरा एक gel बन गया, that will solidify that particular portion, and it will not allow the entry of groundwater. So these are the chemical grouts which are widely used. Inorganic chemicals like sodium silicate, calcium chloride, lignochrome or lignosulfate. So ये सब inorganic chemicals that can be used, or organic chemical that are epoxy resin, polyester resin, called as the resin grout, and having precise time control and high strength. They are having this two added advantage. So that can be done in the 2-shot process or 1-shot process. 2-shot प्रोसेस में क्या करेंगे, पाइप्स आर ड्रिवन इन द ग्राउंड में पाइप डाल दिया एट अराउंड 0.5 मीटर अपार्ट, एंड कैल्शियम क्लोराइड इज इंजेक्टेड फर्स्ट. पहले ये कैल्शियम क्लोराइड डाल दिया, ठीक है, एंड देन सोडियम सिलिकेट इज इंजेक्टेड इन द सेकेंड स्टेज. बट इन द 1-shot प्रोसेस दो पार्ट में, 2 स्टेज में नहीं करना है. Just you are mixing all chemicals that you want to use. You have to mix together, and then you have to inject, and which forms the gel, and that will be useful in forming the that artificial cutoff or physical barrier to the groundwater. So what are the advantage of chemical grouting? Chemical grouting तो एकदम narrow crack में भी आप डाल सकते हैं. So that is width up to 0.05 mm. एकदम small crack अगर भी होगा तो that can be also filled up with the help of chemical. It becomes hard in cold as well as warm temperature. कोई भी टेम्परेचर हो उसका कोई इफेक्ट नहीं होगा. इट विल बिकम हार्ड इन अ टाइम विच इज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टाइप ऑफ केमिकल यूज. एंड इट बॉन्ड मॉइस्ट एज वेल एज ड्राई सरफेस. अगर मॉइस्ट भी है, थोड़ा पानी भी है, अगर ड्राई है, बोथ द केसेस इट कैन बॉन्ड इट प्रॉपरली. सेम विस्कोसिटी इज वाटर. जितनी विस्कोसिटी पानी की होती है उतनी ही होती है. सो एनी सॉइल विथ एनी फाइन क्रैक यू कैन यूटिलाइज दिस chemicals. And some chemicals that are like polyester resins, they are also possessing both high compressive as well as tensile strength also. So where you can suitably you can use this chemical grouting used for the clean and relatively homogeneous sand having effective size greater than 0.1 mm. So this is one of the area in which you can use. This is costly method and it is newly developed. So that's why after effects are not much known. So depending upon your requirement, you can choose your method. Now this important method that is called as freezing. Now here also our main aim is कि पूरी soil को freeze कर देना है. और यहाँ पे भी आपको एक physical cut off in the form of frozen soil you have to provide. So nothing pipe install करो, उसमें आपको chilled water that from the refrigeration plant you have to install, and you have to just make that particular soil all around your area to be excavated in a frozen manner. So frozen soil पानी को आने नहीं देगा. So here in this figure you can see this is just the frozen earth. ये area of excavation. This is the area of excavation, and by installing this pipe, this frozen earth is created. And this is it has to be go up to the impervious strata. अगर आपने pervious strata में छोड़ दिया तो नीचे से पानी आ जाएगा. Okay. So you have to avoid the water from both side as well as from the bottom. So this is one of the most expensive methods. Why? Because पूरा रेफ्रिजरेशन प्लांट चाहिए, इंस्टॉलेशन ऑफ पाइप, डबल लेयर पाइप डालना पड़ता है. सो दिस इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव मेथड एंड इट इज एक्चुअली यूज व्हेन इट इज प्रैक्टिकली इम्पॉसिबल, कि आपके पास कोई चारा नहीं रह गया कि हमको कोई मेथड यूज नहीं कर सकते. सो इन दैट केस यू कैन गो फॉर दिस मेथड बिकॉज एक्सपेंसिव है, इंस्टॉलेशन वाइज ये थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है. सो हाउ इट इज डन? So here you can see this is double walled pipe. So यहाँ पे just try to understand this. This is your pipe, okay, double walled. So this is your outer pipe. This is large diameter outer pipe. So that is 100 to 150 mm diameter. Okay, so in this a smaller diameter pipe is installed. एक बड़ा डायमीटर का पाइप है, उसके अंदर छोटा डायमीटर का पाइप है. ओके, सो डबल वॉल्ड पाइप्स आर इंसर्टेड वर्टिकली टू द रिक्वायर्ड डेप्थ थ्रू द सॉइल एट ए डिस्टेंस ऑफ 1 to 1.5 मीटर. तो 1 to 1.5 मीटर पे ऐसे डबल वॉल्ड पाइप डाल दिए. बाहर बड़ा सिलेंडर है, अंदर छोटा सिलेंडर है, ऐसा समझ लो आप. ठीक है, कम डायमीटर का सिलेंडर and that is provided with the perforated section. यहाँ पे at the bottom of this small diameter pipe it is having perforations. Now the fluid which is used to freeze the water is compressed. Now from the now this small diameter pipe, यहाँ पे आप क्या करोगे? From refrigerating plant, the fluid which is you are going to freeze your particular soil, that is to be inserted in the inner tube, जो आपका अंदर का ट्यूब है, जो 25 से 50 mm डायमीटर का है. So here this chilled water or that frozen water you can say, जो frozen करने के लिए हमको use करना है, that is to be inserted. Now here as perforations are there, यहाँ पे perforations मतलब खड्डे हैं, तो वहाँ से पानी पास हो जाएगा. ठीक है, and that will come to this outer pipe and this will freeze the surrounding soil. तो ये जो आपको दिख रहा है inner pipe, outer pipe, and when it is moving in outer pipe at the same time it will be responsible for freezing this outer soil. तो पूरे soil को वो वापस freeze करता रहेगा and then again it is moving in upward direction and then again it will go to freezing plant, again cool होगा, वापस आएगा. So it's a continuous circulation of the this freezing that water that is having your particular temperature in such a way that it is responsible for freezing your surrounding soil. So this fluid, it will flow back to the plant and then again it is coming after that freezing process, and it may take this complete freezing process, it may take several months also. It's not very easy ke hours mein ho gaya. So a number of such double walled pipes are to be installed. Freezing plant में से आपको डालना है frozen that water which is coming, fluid that is coming here, and then again it is responsible for freezing all around your soil. Moreover, this freezing of the bottom of the excavation is also very difficult, and you have to complete this process up to this impervious strata. Otherwise, there are always chances कि नीचे से भी पानी आ जाए. So you have to do this earth to be frozen up to impervious strata. Otherwise, chances of water from the bottom is also possible. So this way, this freezing process is done. Also, this artificial ground freezing can be done with the help of liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen डाल के भी आप, so in the pipe you have to insert this liquid nitrogen, so that may be responsible for freezing your surrounding soil. In this surrounding soil, it will not allow the entry of groundwater. So here this soil freezing with the nitrogen, it is shown. So first this ground is prepared, then you have to insert this pipe. This is called as the freezing lenses, and after this number of pipes in which you have to insert this liquid nitrogen, that is to be passed through this, and that will make your surrounding soil completely frozen, and it will not allow this groundwater to enter from the sides. So by freezing or by frozen earth, you can say, either by the freezing liquid or either by this particular liquid nitrogen. So what are the advantage? Advantage are no smoke, vibration, shocks or undue noises are generated. यहाँ पे कोई भी कुछ smoke, vibration या कुछ भी नहीं है. Okay, freezing wall is impervious and requires no shoring. Shoring means extra कोई support provide नहीं करना आपके excavation को. This process can be adopted for the excavation at the foot of hill. Of hill में अगर आपको provide करना है तो you can provide it. Also along with the groundwater control, ये तो एक one of the what you can say purpose for which we are using freezing, but it can be also useful for the structural underpinning. Structural underpinning means existing structure का foundation weak हो गया है, then उसको आपको strengthen करना है. So in that case also you can utilize undisturbed sampling of sampling के लिए use करना है cohesionless soil में, sealing करना है some of the utility line, पीछे आपको कुछ रिपेयर वर्क करना है, थोड़े टाइम के लिए उसको सील कर देना है. So in that case also you can use this method. But disadvantage, area to be covered should be small as far as possible. Also this frozen region should extend up to firm impervious strata. That is what I have told you. Otherwise again water will start and pumping is to be done. Suited for the work for the short duration. थोड़ा ड्यूरेशन का काम हो तो आप कर सकते हैं. एक्सपेंसिव and recommended only in the exceptional circumstances. Okay, these are some of the advantage and disadvantage of freezing method. So exceptional area, exceptional cases, then only you have to go for the freezing method. Next is electro osmosis method. Now this electro osmosis method, it has to utilize the electrical property. So it is useful for the low permeable soil. अभी इसकी permeability तो already low है. Okay, तो पानी तो जल्दी इतना आएगा नहीं. So such like fine grained soil, cohesive soil means mixture of clay and silt. So already they are not allowing water by their own nature, but though some water is coming. So in that case normal pumping method or the sheet piling or well point system or dewatering, such method cannot be utilized. So in that case what you can do, so electro osmosis process can be utilized, and this is also cheaper and faster than the freezing method. So in this method external electromotive force is to be applied across the soil liquid interface, and electrical properties of soil particle and water stored in the void space of the soil particle is used. जो भी void spaces होती है soil के अंदर, जो पानी होता है उसको भी वो खींच के ले आएगा. ठीक है. So this is generally consisting of two electrodes. So first is anode, so that is generally a positive electrode, and second is cathode, that is negative electrode. So here just try to see this. This is your anode, that is your positive electrode. So here, and this is your cathode, and that is your negative electrode. So what is generally done, these anodes that are installed here, you can see. So here direct current is made to flow from the anode, that are positive electrode, which are generally the steel rods which are driven into the soil. So upon the application of this electromotive force between the two electrodes in the soil medium, water molecules, जो water molecules होंगे soil के अंदर contained in the soil, it is repelled by the positive electrode. तो normally इसमें पानी में ज़्यादातर जो पॉजिटिव पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, तो हियर दिस एनोड इज आल्सो पॉजिटिव. सो रिपेल होंगे मींस इससे दूर होंगे, अट्रैक्ट नहीं होंगे, रिपेल होंगे. तो रिपेल होके कहाँ जाएंगे, तो के भाई वो नेगेटिव पे चले जाएंगे. सो हियर नेगेटिव दैट इज कैथोड, तो यहाँ पे कैथोड के पास जाएंगे. सो ऑल द सॉइल पार्टिकल्स विच कंटेन वाटर particles that are generally positive charged and that are repelled by this positive anode as the electromotive forces is applied. So all this water that will go towards this or attracted towards cathode, you can say it is repelled. Repelled means उससे दूर जाना और cathode की तरफ attract होना, तो negative cathode की तरफ जाएंगे. So what you can do, this free water in the interior of the void spaces, अगर void space में भी कोई पानी है तो वो भी आपका it will be carried along the cathode. So ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल में जो भी है, वॉइड्स के अंदर भी जो भी है सॉइल के अंदर, सब दे विल ऑल गो टुवर्ड्स द नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड एंड मेकिंग दिस कैथोड इन अ वेल. यहाँ पे एक वेल ही प्रोवाइड कर दो, वेल के अंदर ही कैथोड रखो, तो वेल में से डायरेक्टली यू कैन टेक आउट वाटर, ओके, बाय पंपिंग. सो इलेक्ट्रिकल प्रोसेस यूज किया एंड बाय डाइवर्टिंग दैट वाटर टुवर्ड्स योर कैथोड, द वेल विच इज वेल के अंदर ही आपने कैथोड डाला है, तो पानी को सब आप पंप कर सकते हैं. So this is the method which can be utilized for lowering down the groundwater table. So this system requires about 20 to 30 ampere of electricity per well as a if the voltage is 40 volt to 180 volt. And the spacing of the electrode is generally kept at 4 to 5 meter. 4 to 5 meter पे आप रख सकते हैं continuously all around your excavated area. And advantage of this method is that it helps in increasing the shear strength of cohesive soil also. Shear strength भी बढ़ सकती है. But disadvantage, high installation and running cost. But power consumption and running cost decreases considerably after ground is stabilized. एक बार थोड़ा stabilize हो गया तो वो cost थोड़ा compensate हो सकता है. So electrical property when you are using it is called as electro osmosis process. So next is vibro flotation or vibro compaction. So here main purpose is to vibrate and then to compact. Vibration करना है and compact करना है. So it is used to densify the clean cohesionless. Cohesionless मतलब granular soil using the heavy vibrators inserted in the soil. Soil में heavy vibrator insert करना है. So generally it is consisting of the vibro float. So here there is a typical figure of a vibro float which is shown here, that is consisting of the bottom jet. यहाँ पे दो part है, bottom jet and upper jet. Okay, so heavy and that is connected with the heavy vibratory unit. बहुत ही ज़्यादा वाइब्रेशन करने वाले यूनिट के साथ वो अटैच होता है and to a very high vibrating machine. So इसको आपको proper very high vibration is to be applied and it is jetted down into the position by opening the bottom jet. Bottom jet को open करके it has to be inserted at the point you want to reach. On reaching the desired depth, अभी आप once you have reached to your desired depth, the vibrating unit is set in motion. अभी इसको vibratory unit को motion में लाना है and keeping the bottom jet closed. Now you have to just close it and the upper jet is open. यहाँ पे इसको open करना है and sand is added. यहाँ पे sand add करते हैं, ठीक है. So vibration से थोड़ा जो भी आपका surrounding soil होगा वो readjust होगा and at the same time you are also with the vibration you are inserting sand artificially. So cylinder of the soil about the vibrofloat will get vibro compacted. So this all around this area the vibro compaction that would take place. Okay, so this cylinder of compacted soil that can be obtained. आजू बाजू की soil भी readjust हुई, वो भी उसके नजदीक आई and at the same time you are artificially also adding some soil and that will result in the compaction. So once the compaction is done, that can be withdrawn. So that will also act as a physical barrier. So this action of vibrator usually accompanied by the water jetting. अगर water jetting is combined along with that, it also reduces the inner granular forces between the soil particle. थोड़ा सा particle को soft करेगा and it will also allow them to move into the denser configuration. So density बढ़ जाएगा, so density will increase. So result of this compaction, a cone-shaped depression is formed on the surface, which is subsequently filled up with the side soil itself. Side soil भी use करेंगे and artificial soil भी हम use करेंगे. And typical relative density of 75 to 80% is achieved. And compaction is achieved above and below the water table. So by this artificial compaction, that is by vibration, you can adopt. So here one of the such figure which is shown. So it is the penetration of vibrofloat and then second is compaction and again refilling. So this compaction that can be achieved either by the surrounding soil and by adding artificial soil also, and ultimately at last you can have all physical cutoff barrier that will not allow entry of groundwater. So एकदम compact हो जाएगा soil and it will not allow entry of water. So what are the advantage? Density of the soil and water bearing capacity both are increases. Then also settlement of foundation reduce. Settlement of foundation भी नहीं होगा. Liquefaction potential. Liquefaction potential मतलब in some of the cases अगर excessive stress आ जाता है, so solid particle of soil is also behaving like a liquid. So that is also reduced. Noise is not there. The size of footing, if you want to go for that, can be also reduced. And formwork is not required. कुछ additional support नहीं चाहिए during the excavation of the foundation. These are the advantages that can be obtained with the vibroflotation method. So in all we have finished all the methods. So just to have a quick recap कि कौन से टाइप के सॉइल में कौन सी कंडीशन में कौन सा यूज करना चाहिए आपको डिवाटरिंग मेथड. सो जस्ट आई एम टेकिंग दैट. सो पंपिंग फ्रॉम द सम्प एंड डीचेस. आर्टिफिशियल ड्रेन बनाओ, सम्प की तरफ डाइवर्ट करो. सो एनी टाइप ऑफ सॉइल एंड रॉक कंडीशन यू कैन यूज इट. एंड एसेंशियल वेयर वेल पॉइंट और बोर्ड वेल कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड देन ओनली. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द बोल्डर कंडीशन आप वेल पॉइंट नहीं डाल सकते या बोरवेल नहीं कर सकते, तो आप सम्प एंड डीच पे जा सकते हैं. पंपिंग फ्रॉम द बोर्ड वेल. सो हियर एज यू नो बोर्ड वेल जनरली दैट आर ग्रेटर डेप्थ. So greater depth, that is greater than 16 meter. Then when it is required, you have to compulsorily go for the borewell system. Electro-osmosis process. Right now we have discussed. So when the finer particles are there, like clay and silt, and well point is also not effective. In that case, you have to go for the electro-osmosis process by using the electrical properties. Then well point method. So generally rectangle हो या फिर continuous line of excavation हो. So generally you can use it. and it can be very flexible and effective method of dewatering in the sand and combination of sand and gravel. Then grouting. So here this permeability बहुत ही ज़्यादा है, उसमें आप pumping use नहीं कर सकते because high pumping capacity is required. So in that case, you can inject your fluid or clay or chemical in that particular fissures or cavities in the soil because उसका high permeability is very high. पानी तो फटाफट पास हो जाएगा, तो pumping नहीं कर सकते. तो cement grouting जहाँ पे strengthening is required along with the permeability reduction, cement grouting can be used. Clay grouting just to have the impermeable cut-off wall and generally useful in the alluvial strata below the dam foundation. And chemical grouting for sandy gravel and sandy soil, you can go for the chemical grouting. Pumping from the horizontal well, it is also useful for the special circumstances where you cannot utilize well point and board well. Freezing process, this is very costly method and all other methods are impracticable, then only you can go for that. And for the vibroflotation, just now we have discussed, that is to densify the clean, cohesionless or granular soil. So these are all the methods depending upon the situation, depending upon the type of the soil, depending upon your fund, you can choose a particular method to with the water. But whenever certain excavation work is going on, then you have to go for the dewatering method. So thank you very much. So whatever content I have shown you, that is very useful to you as far as control of groundwater in excavation is considered. Okay.